Welcome to Callawegin Fly Fishing with Robert Smart. Now, here's Robert.
Greetings. Now in this video, I am going to tie one of the best big trout flies ever made. It's called the Muddler Minnow. Now it was created by a gentleman by the name of, Don Gappen, G-A-P-E-N, 1936. He's from Minnesota. And he tied it to imitate a sculpin to catch giant brook trout up in Canada. Now the muddler is close to my heart. You know, you have those fishing days that stick with you your entire life. Well, back when I was in my early teens, my family and some friends of the family, another family, went out to Wyoming. And we hit the upper Green River. And Dad just pulled off. There's a campground there, a bridge that crossed it. And my buddy and I, we went upstream with our fly rods, and my dad and his dad went downstream with worms. My dad was not a fly fisherman. Well, we just used muddler minnows. And we caught the biggest stringer of trout almost that I can ever remember. We had at least 12 fish on that stringer. None of them went less than 2.5 pounds, and 2 of them went over 5 pounds. I can remember walking back in camp with that stringer, and Dad and Mr. Miller had just come up from downstream, and they had maybe 4, 12-inch trout. They saw that stringer we had, and I thought their eyes were going to fall out. It was the most fantastic day I ever had. We caught a bunch of whitefish with them, too. Being dumb teenagers, we didn't realize whitefish were really good eating, so we considered them trash fish and threw them back. But it was one of my best days of my life on the Green River with a muddler minnow. It's a fantastic fly for big trout. So here we go. We're going to tie the muddler. Okay, we're going to tie the muddler minnow. Start my thread about a quarter of the way back on the shank. We're going to need room for making the head. Come back to about the barb. Then from this turkey quill, I'm going to make the tail. And I don't want it super long. Tie them right on top. Get a good grip on it. Yeah. Let's try that again. Yeah, it could be better. I always have a little trouble with this part. That's better. I'm just going to run my thread forward. It's about that quarter point. Trim them off. Okay. Next, we'll just take a piece of copper wire. This will help tie down the body so it's good and solid. Okay. For the body, I'm going to use some of this gold Flashaboo. Some guys will take 3 or 4 strands to do this, but this stuff is a real pain to work with. It separates on you when you wrap it. So I can get by with just two strands. Okay. Now we bring that Flashaboo forward. Covering all the thread. Even these 2 strands tend to get away from you. Tie that off. Trim it. Now I'm going to just bring my copper wire forward. And we just helicopter that off. Okay. Now for the undertail, underwing, I'm just going to use a little bit of red squirrel hair from the tail of the red squirrel. About halfway past the tail. Tie that right on top. Trim her off. And finish tying that down real good. Stuff's kind of slick. It tends to come off. Okay. Now for the wings, cut another piece of turkey and divide them up kind of even. Get the tips fairly even. them about the same length as that underbody. Trim them off. And tie them down real good. Okay. Now we're going to just take some deer hair. And put that in the stacker. It's getting away from me. Ah. You gotta redo it. I just screwed it all up in the stacker. The problem was I didn't get all these fines out of it. And they got all bunched up in the stacker. Let's try that again. Yeah. Not too bad. Okay. I want them to come back just a little ways. Something like that. I'm going to cut these off a little bit. And take a couple of loose wraps. Start to snug it. And then rotate that around. Come up to the, right through it. And push it back. And we're going to take another clump. If I can get it here. Clean it out as best I can. Couple of loose wraps. And we're going to rotate it. Pull it down tight. Push it back a little. Now, I'm just going to whip finish right into the middle of that. Pull it good and tight. Okay. Okay, now
I'm just going to take my scissors and work that front hair back some, keeping away from these flow backs. You don't want to cut them. Get them as best you can. Real handy to have a rotating vise at this point. And we're getting there. Don't get in a rush on this. You cut too much off too quick, you can't replace it. Now, I took one of these razors and my knife and I pried it apart to get the blades out. You can do this all with scissors, but using a razor blade works a lot slicker. And I just kind of bow it. And then straight across on the bottom. Just keep working it. I could have probably made that head a little thicker. Used a little more deer hair. It's kind of fun. Almost got her. And I could have used it a little thicker on the front. I've done better and I've done worse. That's not too bad. There you have it. Muddler Minnow. Fantastic fly for big trout.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe.